Hi, new Patriots are on their way to Ukraine from the United States, but more on that later. But for now, first reports from the front. Ukraine's Air Force claims to have shot down 5 of 6 Russian missiles this night, namely, all cruise missiles and 1 Kinzhal. 1 Iskander flying from Crimea was not shot down. All 24 Shahids were also shot down. Map of the night attack on Ukraine. Looks like the targets were Vasilkiv and Mirgorod, where the airfields are located. Also visible is a single strike on Odessa from Crimea. Recall that the Air Force reported 1 Iskander from Crimea, which could not be shot down. That is, there was an arrival in Odessa. And now about the situation on the front. The Russian army has concentrated its main offensive efforts in the Pokrovsk and Kurakovsky directions, according to Commander-in-Chief SYRSKY. The Russians have concentrated the largest number of their assault units from the composition of 8 shock brigades. He also denies the loss of Krynok and Rabatino, as reported by MP Bezagleya, as well as the loss of Staromayrskoye. On the Zaporizhia direction, the aggressor carries out offensive actions in the areas of Staromayrskoye and Rabatino, but actually without success. In the area of Krinka, fighting continued for the retention of the bridgehead and control of the islands, without significant changes in the state and position of the parties, writes SYRSKY. He also reports that the Russians bogged down in Volchansk. Meanwhile, the occupants' Z-channels are publishing a video of an Iskander-M missile defense system strike on Mirgorod. They claim that a Su-27 fighter jet was destroyed at the airfield and the location of a S-300 SAM system in the area. The border is more than 150 kilometers away, and at this distance, the drones are quietly hovering in the air. This situation must be resolved. And now about the main topic of the issue. Biden has agreed to send another Patriot air defense system to Ukraine. This is reported by the New York Times with reference to sources. According to the newspaper, the installation will be delivered from Poland, where it covered the rotation of U.S. troops. The newspaper said that the Western allies have a limited stock of such systems. Meanwhile, Ukraine may receive a large-scale aid package from the G7 countries, Deutsche Welle has reported. A new agreement on aid to Ukraine may be reached at the G7 summit starting on June 13th in Italy, a senior EU official told the DPA news agency. According to him, Ukraine may be granted a $50 billion loan, which will be covered by revenues from frozen Russian assets. Ukraine will be able to use these funds to strengthen its defense and restore destroyed infrastructure. New military aid packages for Ukraine were announced separately today by ministers from Italy, Estonia, and Germany. Italy will transfer air defense assistance to Kiev, as well as 140 million euros for infrastructure, energy, and healthcare, Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said. Estonian Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur announced that his country was supplying Ukraine with missiles and launchers for the Mistral air defense system. In his turn, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that Germany would supply Kiev with 100 missiles for the Patriot air defense system and with a. Finally, not the worst news from Hungary. Hungary will not block NATO decisions on Ukraine and will not participate in them either. This was announced by Prime Minister Orbán after a meeting with Stoltenberg in Budapest. I quote, "Hungary has made it clear that it does not intend to block any decisions in NATO that may differ from what we believe, analysis of the situation. What we focused on in today's meeting is that any operations outside NATO should be voluntary, and Hungary has been given the guarantees it demands," Orbán said. The Prime Minister said that at the meeting they reviewed relations between Hungary and NATO. The NATO Secretary General said he and Orban endorsed the modality for Hungary not to participate in NATO support for Ukraine in the future. No Hungarian personnel will be involved in this activity and no Hungarian finances will be used to support it. At the same time, the Prime Minister has assured me that Hungary will not oppose this effort and will allow other allies to move forward, Stoltenberg said. But Hungary is not the only country with idiots and opponents of aid to Ukraine. For example, the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo published a cartoon on the subject of Paris' transfer of Mirage fighter jets to Ukraine. It depicts the airplane in the form of a coffin. This may be a reference to the recent action in the center of Paris with coffins representing French soldiers killed in Ukraine. News from the United States. The jury found guilty the son of U.S. President Hunter Biden. About it writes the Associated Press. It is reported that the verdict was rendered after a 3-hour discussion for 2 days. Now Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison and a fine of up to $750,000. But recall that the jury's verdict does not equal a judgment with a sentence. When there will be a decision on Biden Jr. is still unknown. The president's son, Joe Biden, is accused of illegal possession of weapons. In 2018, he lied on a gun purchase, saying he did not use drugs. As you can see, friends, not only Trump is being tried in the United States, but also the Biden family, or rather its members.
But let's get back to the main topic of the issue, the Patriot deliveries. There is good news from Germany as well. As I have already said, this country together with its allies provides Ukraine with 100 missiles for Patriot air defense systems. More than 30 interceptors have already been delivered. This was announced by German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius at a joint press conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. According to him, Germany is transferring missiles for Patriot as part of an initiative involving Denmark, the Netherlands, and Norway.
At the same time, Zelensky, together with German Defense Minister Pistorius, visited the 21st Anti-Aircraft Missile Group in the city of Zanets, where Ukrainian servicemen are training to work on Patriot SAMs, inspected the Patriot battery, which will be transferred to our country, and met with Ukrainian soldiers who are training on it, talked to the defenders, and honored them with state awards. We make every effort to keep the Ukrainian skies clear of Russian terror, the Ukrainian president said. And now for developments in the Middle East. Hamas rejected the truce plan presented by Biden. This is reported by Reuters with reference to an Israeli official. The official, who wished to remain anonymous, said that Hamas proposed a new schedule for a permanent ceasefire with Israel and the withdrawal of Israeli troops from the Gaza Strip, including Rafah. Friends, thank you for staying with us and watching our episodes. Special thanks to those who support the Army of Ukraine. Official support Sokas in the description under the video. We also thank those who support our channel, especially on a regular basis, by subscribing to our Patreon and YouTube sponsorship. Peaceful skies to you and glory to Ukraine.